Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Shambhu and today I'm going to discuss about segment routing, but I will not move to segment routing straightforward. I'll try to explain the MPLS world first, that how MPLS used to work, and then I'll also explain how routing is going to work, and then I'll compare and contrast between these technologies. At the end of this video, I also have a lab. I'll show you a GNS3 topology where I have configured segment routing. We'll see the configuration, we'll see the basic verification, and we'll see that how exactly it is working. So stay tuned. Let's get started with the basic concept of MPLS first. To take this network as an example, here suppose router R5XC is having the prefix 5555, which it is advertising to rest of the network. And in MPLS, you know that we were using label distribution protocol to advertise the labels between the nodes in the network. And also we needed one IGP to have end-to-end connectivity. If you want to advertise prefixes between the node, for that we would use one IGP, and if you want to advertise labels, for that we would use LDP. Now, for example, R5XC, it has already advertised prefixes, so every router in this network knows about 5555 but doesn't know about the label associated with it. So there the work of LDP starts. Now LDP would take the prefix and add one label to it and advertise that particular label to prefix mapping to the next router. So in this case, since R5XC is originating that particular label mapping, so it would put 3 as a label because 3 indicates implicit null label. Whenever any router is receiving a label mapping for a particular prefix, if it says that it is 3, then it would know that that particular prefix is directly connected. So while sending the packet out, I would just strip off or pop the label out and send the packet. So in this example, 5.5.5.5 with the label 3 out of R5XC reaches to R3 router. Now R3 router is XR router, R3 XR router. This router sees that particular advertisement and it updates its forwarding table. So the forwarding table would look something like this. The prefix 5.5.5.5, the outgoing label would be implicit null because we have received label value as 3, and also I'll calculate a local label and assign this to the prefix 5.5.5.5, and the same thing I would also advertise it to the next router. So while I'm sending the LDP mapping to R2XC router, I'll use my local label and the prefix. So the update goes to R2XC and the update has label value of 20. Forwarding table on R2XC would look something like this. The local label would be generated by R2, which is 30 in this case, and the remote label which is coming from R3XR router would be 20. So whenever R2XC is sending any packet to R3XR for the prefix 5555, it would use the label 20. Similarly, it reaches to the last hop R1XC router. There also one local label will be calculated and the remote label would be the label advertised by R2XC. Now let's see how packet forwarding exactly works. So if R1XC wants to send any packet to R5XC 5.5.5.5 prefix, it would use the label which is advertised by R2XC first. So the packet would look something like this, 5.5.5.5, and the associated label would be 30. It reaches to R2XC and R2XC router would use the label value 20 because it is advertised by R3XR. So the packet would reach to R3XR, but now R3XR knows that I have received implicit label from my neighbor, so I would not use any label. I'll pop the outer label and send the packet to the R5XC. So when the packet reaches to R5XC, it would not have any label value. So this is the overall forwarding method what we used to follow in the MPLS world. Now let's see what is happening basically in segment routing world. Alright, so in segment routing, there are a few nomenclatures that we need to understand first. The first nomenclature is sRGB or segment routing global block. This value is kind of a range of labels and it is configurable on the router. In general, on Cisco router, the range is 16,000 to 23,999. The actual label which forwards the packet will be calculated on the basis of this particular range. The another value is index value. So this particular value we assign to the prefix on the router. So for example, in segment routing, we assign this index value to the loopbacks. Now the actual label value will be calculated on the basis of the base value in this sRGB block. For example, if it is 16,000, then it will pick the 16,000 value and it will add the index value which is advertised to you. For example, router R2, if it is advertising the index value as 1, I'll add the 1 to 16,000 and the label value becomes 16,001. In this case, router R1 will send this packaged update to router R2 with the help of any link state protocol. For example, if you are using ISIS or OSPF, it will embed this particular update in ISIS TLBs or opaque LSAs in OSPF, and it will send it to router R2. Router R2 would see this particular update. It will see that the prefix 1.1.1/32 is having the index value of 1 and the segment routing global block is starting from 16,000. So what I'll do is I'll create a forwarding table where the prefix would be associated with a label and the label value would be 16,000, the base value of the segment routing global block, plus the index value which is advertised by the router 1. So that is how the forwarding table is calculated in segment routing. Now this is the quick screenshot between two routers who are talking segment routing with the help of ISIS. Here you can see that the label value, this label value is nothing but segment routing global blocks base value, and the range is 3,000. So here from 17,000 to 20,000 is the complete block what I have, and the set index value is advertised here, and you can see that it is associated with the prefix value 2222. At this case, if the router wants to calculate the forwarding table, this prefix would have 17,000 plus 2, that means 17,002 label associated with it. Okay, now this is the basic understanding of segment routing. There is a lot to it and I'll cover all of them one by one, but if you are just beginning, then I think this understanding is very good to start the lab. So I'll start the lab here. Let's get into the lab and see how exactly it is working. So this is my GNS3 topology. I have 5 routers here. R1XC router is CSR 1000V router. You can see it on the screen. The R3XR and R4XR router is iOS XRV routers. Show platform if you want to see. Show platform and show install active summary. You can see that XRV 7.11 release I am running on these routers, and this is more than sufficient topology and device configuration to run segment routing perfectly. I have tested everything and everything is working here. So let's quickly see what configuration I have on these devices in order to make basic segment routing working between the nodes. For that, first of all, let's see the configuration of router ISIS. So definitely you need to have ISIS or OSPF configured between the nodes. So I have show ISIS neighbors. I have one ISIS neighbor R2XC. You need to configure matrix style as wide because all these updates, whatever we have in ISIS TLVs, it goes as extended ISIS TLVs. So you'll have to configure matrix style as wide, and also you need to enable segment routing MPLS under ISIS. So this is all. You can ignore all these configuration, fast reroute and TILFA, MPLS, traffic engineering, etc. And all other configurations are for other videos. For this video, you just need these two commands here in ISIS. Segment routing MPLS and matrix style as wide. Now let's see the segment routing configuration. So under segment routing MPLS, You can ignore the set attributes because under set attributes I have configured SR label preferred. Whenever you are using MPLS as well as SR segment routing in your network, then you would need SR label preferred command in order to use SR label over MPLS label. So here I am not using any MPLS, so I do not need this SR label preferred, and if you are not using it, you also don't need to configure it. But the major configuration is here where you assign the particular prefix. This is my loopbacks IP address with the index value, and this is all needed for the local hop as well as remote hop to derive the label values in order to have the complete forwarding information. Alright, so I have these two things configured. I'll also show you the configuration of my gig1 interface, which is basically going towards R2XC. I have enabled ISIS under the interface, and circuit type is ISIS network point to point. Somewhere I have read in Cisco documentation that in iOS XC routers, I think MPLS traffic engineering over the broadcast ISIS interfaces doesn't work. So that is the reason I think I have enabled the ISIS network point to point. You would also need to do this if you are running MPLS traffic engineering over segment routing. And that is all. You don't need anything apart from this. Once this is configured and your ISIS neighborship is up, you can check segment routing MPLS state. This is enabled on the device. Let's see if we have any other router in this particular network which is talking segment routing. So we should be seeing all the router. It's like a topology database. In one command you will see all the routers which are talking segment routing and the labels and the prefixes assigned by those routers. The command for that is show segment routing MPLS connected prefix SID map, and if we put a question mark IPv4. Alright, so this is the very good command. It tells you that whoever is the segment routing enabled devices in your network and what are their prefix SIDs. Prefix SID is nothing but the prefixes which are assigned with the index value. So what are their prefix SIDs and what are their net IDs, etc., or ISIS identifiers, etc. So here I have 5 routers, 1 2 3 4 5 router, and the SID value associated with all those routers are 1 2 3 4 5. I have kept it easy in order to troubleshoot or in order to have a better understanding of the network. So in this whole network, the segment routing global block is also same. All routers are advertising 16,000 to 23,099 as their segment routing global block. So I have all these advertisements coming to my router, so I should also have MPLS forwarding table, which is sure enough it is available on the router. And if you want to trace, let's trace and see. If you want to trace 5.5.5.5, I should be using label value as 16,005, which is advertised to me by my neighbor R2XC basically. Alright, so in this trace what is happening is it goes to 10.10.10.2, which is R2XC router. Then it goes to 10.10.10.10, which is R4XR router. Now since the segment routing global block is same on all these routers and the index value advertised by R5XC router is 5, so every router in the network would calculate the same label value, which is 16,005, and it would keep on using that particular value if anybody wants to reach to 5.5.5.5. And that is what it is happening here. The router R2XC is also using the same label which is being used by R1XC. And at the end, R4XR router is popping the label because it is directly connected neighbor. Great, so it is working here. Now I just wanted to show you the quick configuration on iOS XR router also. Here almost everything will be configured under ISIS itself. So if you see ISIS configuration, show, run router ISIS, you will be able to find a metric style wide, which is very much needed, and segment routing MPLS enabled, and under the loopback you will have to assign the index value and enable prefix it for that. That is all configuration needed on iOS XR router. You can ignore all other configuration like fast reroute, etc. That is all for this particular video. Thank you very much for watching. And also, if you are interested in reading, so you can go to my blog protocolic.com. There I have written few blogs about segment routing, and I'll keep on updating this particular blog. You can see that it has different technologies which consistently I talk about and I write about. So please visit my blog as well, and don't forget to subscribe the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.